Minister Justin Trudeau kicks off his bid for re-election today, heading to Rideau Hall this morning to ask Governor General Julie Payette to dissolve Parliament. With that starts a 40-day campaign that will see Trudeau make the pitch to Canadians that he should be given a second term, while his opponents focus not just on why he shouldn't, but why they should have a chance at governing instead. Polls suggest the Liberals and Conservatives are running neck and neck, while the NDP and Greens are fighting for third. Rounding out the slate are the nascent People's Party of Canada, led by Maxime Bernier, and in Quebec, the Bloc Québécois. All have been campaigning unofficially for weeks now, making early policy promises while also trying to hit their rivals where it hurts, whether the broken promises of the Liberals or controversial positions held by Conservative leader Andrew Scheer. Councillor Bruni updated City Council on the status of the Sault Ste. Marie Region Conservation Authority Monday evening after a 48% province-wide cut made by the provincial government, which affected the flood erosion operations and natural hazard information sectors. Bruni acknowledged the councillors on the authority and said that they had to make some serious and hard decisions, eliminating one full-time position, reducing one full-time position to part-time, and one to seasonal, as well as slashing the seasonal employee positions for the summer. This reduces staff at the SSM RCA from 8 to 6.5. Reductions also caused the cancellation of the Children's Environmental Education Program. Bruni explained that the authority will be working solely on core mandated programs, which include flood erosion, controlled maintenance, hazard management, and drinking water source protection. Councillor Shoemaker showed his support for the Conservation Authority, thanking them for not automatically burdening the municipality with the costs reduced by the government. The SSM RCA is asking for the 2019 budget to be identical for 2020, and the authority's board has approved the 2020 levy of $500,982.74 for the city of Sault Ste. Marie and $5,605.54 for Prince Township. Council approved $166,000 in economic development funding to help develop the Algoma Network Trail Monday night. Future SSM project manager Travis Anderson told Council that the idea of the trail network, which is being developed collaboratively by the EDC, Future SSM, and Tourism Sault Ste. Marie, is to attract cyclists to the Soo for a 2 to 3 day minimum. The Ant Route, as it will be known, will cover 100 kilometers throughout both city limits and the surrounding area, mostly in Conservation Authority land, with the primary trailhead at Hiawatha. Maintenance would be taken care of by the Sioux Cycling Club. This funding will be used to leverage further funding via FedNor's Canadian Experiences Fund.
Since Sunday morning, approximately 350 or so military personnel from Atlantic Canada have been deployed to various places in Nova Scotia to help restore electricity, clear roadways, evacuate residents in certain flooded areas.
Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale and Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan visited Herring Cove to meet with residents and to talk about federal help as Nova Scotia still recovers from post-tropical storm Dorian.
Well, the Canadian Coast Guard has been deployed with helicopters to ferry personnel and equipment, as well as to assess damage to local infrastructure. Emergency crews are making good progress, but to be clear, we're still in the early days of this response. Downed trees and power lines, multiple road closures and washouts are still a very real concern. So is cell service, as we've heard loud and clear from a number of people in the course of today. Damage assessment is ongoing. In these circumstances, provincial authorities take the lead. The Government of Canada is there to offer assistance as requested by the province, and we are determined to meet every request that comes in from Nova Scotia, as we have thus far.
The impact of climate change is having a drastic impact on our country, from floods to fires to hurricane response, and this is something that we need to be very mindful as a nation and adjusting our response, and more importantly, having the preventative measures in place. I also want to highlight our Canadian Armed Forces work internationally as well with Hurricane Dorian and the impact that it had on in the Bahamas, where we do have Canadian Armed Forces personnel on the ground. We have Canadian Armed Forces Air Force personnel deploying the Jamaican Disaster Assistance Response Team as we speak, and our folks are on the ground doing the assessment if our own DART team is going to be needed, and if it is, we are prepared to deploy that as well.
The head of a group representing rural communities says high-speed internet should be declared an essential service to ensure that all Ontarians can enjoy the benefits of the digital economy. The chairman of the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, Alan Thompson, said broadband services should be treated the same as the provision of clean water, electricity, healthcare, education, and postal services. He said that making the service mandatory will bolster economic development and ensure kilometers of fiber optic cables already buried across the province by telecommunications and other private companies could be accessed for public use. Municipalities across Ontario have been grappling with the challenge of providing access to high-speed internet and cellular service for over a decade. The CRTC has said that by the end of 2021, it wants 90% of Canadian homes and businesses to have access to broadband speeds. In Ontario, an estimated 12% of the residents can't access those broadband service speeds. Thompson said dial-up or slow internet speeds are stifling job creation and hurting the rural economy, which impacts the entire province.